I see one more of these mobilizers, I might just kill myself. Did I ever tell you that I had to put down my own wife? I put a bullet in her head. Because one of these bumpers bit her. You think you're the only one who's experienced loss? Oh, God damn. My sister, my own flesh and blood, was eaten by one of these sniffers. God damn these sniffers. Sniffing things. I held my dying wife in my hands, and she said, "Husband, if you do anything, kill as many of these damn joggers as you can. Because they're back from the dead and they're jogging. I can't live in a world with these barfers running the streets." I called them barfers because I saw one of them barf real hard one time. God damn these infectors. I just thought of a new name for them. I'm going to call them mumblers because they go blah, blah, really stupid stuff. They're going to be mumblers now. God, if only we had some popular fiction that determined the name to give to the dead coming back to life. They said, the dead can't come back to life. Well, here they are. We got 200 boinkers running in the street. My uncle turned into one of those walkers. Must have been the first day. I called them walkers. Because they walk.
You start your day. I remember coffee, cigar, all this food. You have diarrhea. Now you're done. What's the next thing you indulge in?
Campari spritz and mushrooms. And then I think we go to lunch. I'm going to Buffalo Wild Wings. And we're going to Buffalo Wild Wings. 100%. Cheers.
This episode is brought to you by Saatva. Go to Saatva, SAATVA.com/theshit and get $200 off any mattress of your choice. Whatever you like to sleep on, Saatva has it, and they don't break the bank. You know why? Because you can go to a mattress store and find a high quality mattress, and your mouth will drop. Some of these mattresses are the price of a car, and Saatva knows that that's highway robbery. So what they do is they're online only, and they sell you a mattress for a fair price, a high quality luxury mattress for a fair price. Why? Because they're online only. They don't have to pay for the overhead of a storefront, of the employees, of their commissions, of all those things, and they pass those savings on to you, so you get a top tier mattress that should be 10 times the price for a very, very fair price. And you can get one of them by going to Saatva, SAATVA.com/theshit. You get $200 off any mattress of your choice. Happy New Year! And guess who's got prosthetics that work?
Can I tell you? Every now and then I Google myself.
Yeah.
And I typed in my name and it said kidney transplant. Like, people fucking believed it.
Tarantino believed it.
Wait, was he on the podcast? Oh, he was. I thought
yes.
that was Oliver Stone. Oh, man.
Holy shit.
I'm fucking out of it. I am out of it.
Cheers.
Cheers. It's so good to see you again.
Good to see you, man.
I'm going through old school Bert stuff.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How old school are we talking? September?
Do you remember back in the day when I'd call you and I wouldn't let you talk? Well, it's been do you realize I used to do that to you when we weren't on air? I just call you and then you'd be like, hey man, I gotta go.
Yeah, I do realize that.
I remember one time calling you and the phone had dropped out and I lost your call and I kept talking to you for like fucking 20 minutes and you weren't even on the phone.
That is a story I believe.
Yeah, I'm back.
So
I had a run of drinking. After I did my special, I was like, I'm going to celebrate. And then I did Whitney's roast last night, and I was fucking wasted.
Yeah. What'd you drink?
I don't know.
No?
I actually do not know. I do not know. I know that I was drinking in Mitzi's old office,
And do you fly out tonight or tomorrow?
I fly out. Dude, I fly every day now, and I am working I work from fucking 6 a.m. until the end of the day. Did podcast yesterday, did the roast with Whitney, smoked a joint, and I got way too high. Do you find that marijuana immediately gets you to like, hey man, we're not functioning anymore like a regular human being?
So I mean, I'm more of an edibles guy. I took a couple the other night, and I just felt like my face was melting, and I loved it. I loved it because I got in bed and I was like, and I knew I wasn't gonna have to wake up early the next day. So yeah, I felt like I was in a coma, and that's kind of what I want to feel like every night.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you dream when you're on edibles?
Less, yeah. Less. I really want to get to that Michael Jackson level, though, where I have a doctor giving me anesthesia.
It's amazing how many people... Because I remember the first time I went in for surgery, and you're like, oh, you're going to love it.
Oh, it's the fucking best.
Everyone loves it. Everyone loves it. It's the best sleep they've ever had.
I'm looking for surgeries. I want surgery. I want to be put under.
I got to get a colonoscopy.
Oh, they put you under for that. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And like you can get one last like ass fucking joke out, and then you like right as they do it, be like, hey, both of you guys don't go in at the same time. Like that.
Oh, wait. Oh, I want to do prison jokes.
Yeah.
Like, hey, man, come on, guys. I'll suck your...
Yeah, that's the way to do it. Can you imagine getting double penetrated in your ass?
Oh, I was thinking in my mouth and ass.
Well, yeah, but what if they were both in your ass?
I think if I went to prison, I'd go full-blown.
Double anal?
I'd be like, I just would welcome it. I think it's like taking a charge. It's like once you realize, yeah, and just figure out a way to like it. I'm actually starting to think, like, could you transition? Like, I know that it's really complicated. You know, you can't say that homosexuality is a choice or that you're born like that because both sides of the gay camps are upset with either side.
Wait, you can't
say. So, by the way, this is based off one conversation I had with one drunk gay dude on a plane.
Source. Okay.
So I said, you're born gay to the guy. And he goes, no. And I said, what? And he was like, no. And he said, this is why you can't say that. Because if you could find a genetic code to finding out people are gay, then you could get rid of gay people altogether. That's what he was saying to me. I don't know. I was pretty fucking hammered. And I said, well, so you're saying it's a choice? And he goes, well, no, I think some people are born gay, obviously. And then some people, it's what is it called? Nature versus nurture.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh.
This is an insane argument from this guy, though.
But it was an insane conversation about a fucking plane.
Yeah.
And I was like, and by the way, I was loving it. Yeah. I love people who like to take chances in a conversation.
Yeah, sure.
Does not know me at all. And of course, I'm like, but yeah, so that was the conversation we had about, would they get rid of the gene? Because they were talking about genetic cleansings happening in Sweden, I think. I'm in Sweden right now, I think. If you're listening to this, I'm in Oslo.
And you think they're doing genetic cleansing there?
No, yeah. They're getting rid of, like, people can go in. So, okay, hold on. Let me start all over. Don't start Googling shit, Nadav. So you get pregnant in Sweden.
Yeah.
By the way, this is going to kill my Swedish ticket sales. You get Sweden. By the way, I cannot fucking promote Berlin. I'm in Berlin. Like, there's no fucking way I can be like, hey guys, I'm coming to Berlin.
Why?
Come on.
What?
You
can't promote Berlin?
Anyway. You get pregnant, you go into the doctor in Sweden. I'm almost 100% certain this is how they work.
Okay.
The doctor goes, okay, let's take a look at the baby. And he takes blood from the thing. You know how you do like the Down syndrome thing?
Yeah.
And then people abort Down syndrome kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they do that, right?
But they don't or they do especially in like Iceland and like the Netherlands.
Zero.
Like
that's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about now. No, you know what I'm. So argue my part of the point. You know what I'm talking about.
I do know what
they
you're
have
talking
zero
about.
Down syndrome kids. Zero. It's because they go in, they go, okay, it doesn't look like this guy's going to be a bigger scientist, so we get rid of him. We try again next time.
You're saying that if they find if they're able to like figure out the gay gene,
with you, I feel smart as fuck.
That's why we're a great team, man.
God damn it! You realize I was a lunatic.
Do you know how many
people in that room thought I was a fucking lunatic up until you started talking?
Do you know?
No, we thought you were on it the whole time.
God damn.
Do you know how many times I've been in conversations with you and other people, and you've said something, and I see them go like that, and I go, he's saying, and then they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Are you talking about Joe Rogan? Every time I ever talk to fucking Joe Rogan? Every time I ever talk to Joe, it starts off with him going, the fuck? And then you're like, actually...
Yeah, and then I say it, and he's like, oh, okay. It's like I'm your translator.
So they could do that to gay kids. If they find a gene, then they start...
But gay is so chic and cool now.
That's the whole point,
you know?
Is if you go, you are born gay, then all of a sudden Swedish doctors
like, if it was 1981, they would be gone. Like, if that shit...
I remember there was a time... I'm very open to... I think I probably... I didn't ever lived in a world where you could just be a little gay, right? Like when we were kids, you couldn't be on the spectrum of
gay,
your sexuality.
Yeah.
Like you just
now it's like, oh, sexuality is fluid. Like, you know, it's yeah.
I would definitely wear women's clothes.
You would wear women's clothes?
If you could, yeah. Like if I started right now,
you could start now. You're famous. You're successful. You can wear whatever you want, and you're a comedian. You don't have to be like tied to any type of wardrobe. I mean, you don't even wear a shirt.
Then you get queer baiting.
Oh yeah,
it's like gets super complicated.
Oh, that's what they labeled Harry Styles as.
Harry Styles,
queer baiting.
Do you find him attractive?
No,
I don't either. I don't really get it, and I wonder if that means that I'm old.
It's part of aging.
Can I tell you? I think it's because I like fucking Jason Sudeikis.
Oh really?
I think that's.
You think you're attracted to him?
No, I think I'm a
fan.
Fucking team. I'm a ride or die.
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
Jason Sudeikis.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's a comic.
Yeah.
Like what? Of course, we're gonna pick him.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
He's fucking cool.
He's a talented guy too.
I've never met him.
This guy. I mean, also, I think part of aging is when you hear music and you're like, huh?
Whoa, is that Jason Sudeikis?
Yeah.
He's an interesting dude. He's from like Missouri or something, right?
I don't know.
Is that? He's a funny guy, but he's also a man. You feel like he would throw a punch. Is that the girl?
No, that's Olivia Wilde. That's the X for him.
Here's the thing: I don't want a girl that does her makeup naked in front of a mirror.
What do you want her to wear? What?
Like
what?
I don't, like she looks like. I never had a problem. This is gonna be a long time. I have a problem with women who wear too much makeup.
Right. Yeah, I don't find it attractive either.
I don't
like
find, although I will tell you, this is gonna come off aggressive. I like that Push wears red lipstick.
Oh, okay.
I like that with Push.
Yeah,
okay. I don't like that with everyone.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm with you. I don't like heavy makeup though. I don't think it's a. I mean, unless it's a whore, then I like it a lot. Then I think it looks good.
When you have whore's lipstick all over you.
Yeah, like a real whore though, like a real tier 1. You know,
I made out with a whore in college. She had fucking tons of lipstick, and it was all over me, and it turned me on.
Yeah,
like I was fucking in the mud.
Sure. But actually, what I find most attractive is minimal. Just like a little blush, little pink, lipstick, whatever.
Did you ever see the stuff where they do the makeup transformations and then they're meth addicts?
Yeah.
Like they take out their teeth, and you're like,
the porn ones? Yeah, that's bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I first moved to LA, the first place I had by myself was on Highland going towards the 101.
Yeah, where?
So if you're taking Highland North, you pass Hollywood.
Yeah.
So you're literally about to enter the freeway.
Yeah.
And on the right, there's an apartment complex.
I know that.
I lived in that apartment complex.
Are you sure? Do you realize what year? Do you realize I lived across the street?
I lived there, so I could walk to the bowl.
Yeah, I could walk to the bowl. I lived in 1990 Glencoe Way.
It was considered
still that. See if that's the right place.
It was considered a Vine Street address, even though Vine was actually tucked further back.
That area is called.
Yeah, you're right.
It's called an area. Man, I lived over there.
Whitley Heights.
1990. Yeah, Whitley Heights. Yeah, Whitley Heights.
So wait, scroll.
The Whitley Market is right there.
Can you zoom in?
Do you go to the pizza place on the corner? The convenience store?
Hold on. You're screwing me up. Okay, now zoom in. put your cursor there, like in that area. Okay, hold on. North, go up a little bit. That's the street. Oh, North Las Palmas. That was my address.
Yeah.
So it was. Now scroll. Now go back down, and hit that building on the right. Go to the right. Yeah, like, sorry, further right. Yeah. Zoom in. Left side of the street. Las Palmas, that Villa Apartments.
Is that where you lived?
I lived in that building.
Oh, that's great.
So it's 2039 North Las Palmas.
I could do an entire episode.
That's where I lived.
About that area of Los Angeles.
3 doors down from me lived Taylor Rain.
I don't know who that is.
She was a porn star.
Oh, I do know who that is. For real?
Well, what was interesting is that at the time, I mean, I'm 23 years old. It's her. Yep, that's exactly how I remember her.
God. She put her fist in her ass.
Yeah, she does a lot.
She can put. I have a hard time wiping my ass, but she can put her whole fist in her ass.
She was nice, but man, it was the first time I was exposed to the fact that there was an image of somebody like this, and then you ride the elevator with them in like t-shirt and jeans, and you're like, oh, and seeing like the dramatic difference. Like it was very dramatic.
The that area. So a little sidebar. This is just interesting.
Okay.
That area, that Whitley Heights area, is where Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love bought their first house, and that house is if I knew to buy houses the way Leanne does, like Leanne just goes, the house is a group of houses where you have to take an elevator to get to the houses. They're above the Hollywood Bowl, and it's sold for like 1.2. Can you type in Kurt? I'm obsessed with this area because
I remember Paris Hilton living in.
I think Paris Hilton lived in that house actually. Oh. Type in Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love's house, Hollywood. Yeah. It's you got to take an elevator to get up there. It's a really great little fucking area. All my houses I lived over there back when I first moved to LA, and I just was paying rent.
Okay, one time Abode just sold in the
like
Hollywood
1.2?
Heights. I don't know. The home is a 2-story, 2,458 square foot house, built in 1921. Yeah, everything there is like built in the 20s.
Hightower Elevator Association. It's part of the Hightower Elevator Association. Okay. So all these houses, you have to take an elevator to get up to.
Like from the street?
Yeah, it's really fucking cool.
Okay.
You park on a cul-de-sac.
And you would have bought this house, you're saying?
Like, I don't want anything. I actually had a conversation with someone about this the other day. I don't want anything.
What do you mean?
I don't want anything.
Stuff, you mean?
Like stuff. I don't want. I think I got the watch I like.
That's a nice watch.
Yeah, you like it, right? Like Leanne got that for me for my birthday.
Very nice.
I like that's the one watch I kind of wanted. You know.
Yeah. Congratulations. By the way, I also got you a pretty cool gift for your birthday. But go on.
I gotta tell that story.
You really should.
Hold on. Nadav, have you heard this story?
I'm not sure I have.
I just read 2 Jews, 1 Cup. Don't worry, you gotta hear the story, Nadav. So, hold on. But, like, something like that, I would be into. I like buying that house would be an investment because I'm such a nostalgia fan. Like, I get into that
You'd
stuff.
be into that house because Cobain lived there?
Oh, yeah, because Kurt Cobain lived there. Yeah. And I think he was just... the part I like about Kurt Cobain is I just watched a documentary on him again. He was like a regular dude.
Well, it's also... you realize that the older you get, you realize you're not going to have that many times where you will see or hear or experience something where you go like, oh, this is kind of a setting the bar, like life, changing culture. And most people, if you are old enough, can remember hearing Nirvana and being like, what the fuck is this? Like you felt the shift happen, and then you actually watched the thing that you heard. You were like, wow, this is amazing. You watched it take on, the whole world basically, and also that we, we also remember like hearing that he died and how it happened and how like traumatizing that whole thing was. When
we were in Rome, me and the girls went to Italy last summer. Yeah, whatever. We were staying across the street from the hotel he overdosed at, and I was obsessed with it. Like in a weird way, like I kept saying like that. It's right there. Like that's. When I went over there,
Where did he OD? In Rome?
In Rome, yeah. He OD'd in Rome. He took. I think he took. I don't know. I think he took OxyContin.
God, that shit's so good.
It really is.
That's fucking amazing.
But I would have liked to have bought that house. I would have liked to have owned that house to go there. I would set up. I mean, it's a lot bigger than I thought it was. Because I thought, for some reason, I thought it was like 1,200 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
I'd set up an office there and go and write and just like fucking disappear. Like go there, set up a gym there, go to that house and just fucking. I keep saying I want to move to fucking Malibu.
It's the shit.
I'm ready. I think I'm ready to retire.
Well, there's only so many places left in that godforsaken city that are decent to live in now.
Unlike this fucking landscape.
Well, that place is a shithole now.
Well, we got a new mayor, Caroline Bass or something. I don't even know. I didn't vote. You think I vote? Do you want me to vote?
No. Nobody does.
I played at Trump National. I spent like fucking $1,000 on merch. They're like, this before you gave me the teacup. They're like, you're buying a lot of stuff. In the pro shop, I was like, it's like Nazi memorabilia. I buy a Trump flag every time. I can't help it.
What'd you get? Like a bunch of just Trump gear?
I just fucking a ton of stuff, and I gave it to my dad, and my dad is so anti-Trump, and I was like, it's a good looking golf shirt. He's like, yeah. I go, look at your sleeve. He goes, what the fuck?
The new year is here, and there's no better way to kick off 2023 than by making sure you're feeling like your best self. Liquid IV is the category-winning hydration brand fueling your well-being, and their hydration multiplier is the one product you're missing in your daily routine. In just one stick, you get 5 essential vitamins and 2 times faster hydration than water alone. Use it first thing in the morning, before a workout, when you feel run down, after a long night, or on long flights. I could not be a bigger fan of Liquid IV. I take it every day. I take it in the morning. I take it to workouts. It's great. 1 stick of Liquid IV and 16 ounces of water hydrates you 2 times faster and more efficiently than water alone. It contains 5 essential vitamins, B3, B5, B6, B12, and vitamin C, with 3 times the electrolytes of traditional sports drinks, and Liquid IV has donated over 25 million servings in 50-plus countries around the world. Grab your Liquid IV in bulk nationwide at Costco, or you can get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com. Use the code CAVE at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using the promo code CAVE at liquidiv.com. A new year is full of possibilities, but when your e-commerce business is dealing with gift returns, late deliveries, and a mountain of customer emails, you can feel stuck. ShipStation helps you get there faster. Whether you run a side hustle or a giant warehouse, keep customers happy and fulfill more orders than ever, all while cutting shipping costs and managing it all from a single dashboard. And their best rates in the industry just got even better with up to 86% off USPS and UPS rates. It's not a question of if you should switch to ShipStation, but why you haven't already. I love the interface that shows you exactly what's come in and exactly what's gone out on which carrier. With the best discounts in the industry, you'll never wonder if you're getting the best rates. Over 130,000 companies have grown their e-commerce business with ShipStation. My good buddy Bert loves ShipStation. It's how everything that ships out from his orders go out. Make the new year your best year and grow your business with ShipStation. Go to shipstation.com/cave today. Sign up for a free 60-day trial. That's shipstation.com/CAVE.
I got it. Oh, I'm going to pass out. So.
I like your shirt, too.
Thank you. So I got to tell the story. I got to tell you as accurate as possible because I know they're listening. So, obviously everyone knows Tom got me my birthday present, which was Hitler's teacup. I got to be honest with you. There's, my brain. I definitely got nervous. I was like, I don't remember at all receiving it. I don't remember anything. I just remember laughing as hard as I've ever laughed.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was going to be Winston Churchill's teacup, and all the only words I heard was, "There's 98% chance the Fuhrer drank this cup." Wow. So you get, obviously, Hollywood is very different than what we do.
Yeah.
And so, like, Hollywood people get nervous for you, and you're like, Pete, my assistant, Pete.
Yeah.
As everyone got nervous, Pete was like, "It's the funniest fucking thing." He goes, "It's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life." And he was like, "Wait, hold on. I don't care what anyone's saying. I just watched it. I was in the lobby. I watched it. It's fucking hilarious." And he's like, well, "Funny is funny."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh yeah," because that's where my brain is.
But
right?
you're also thinking like, but Los Angeles.
Also, like there's Kanye can't shut his fucking mouth.
Yeah, it's a real cool time right now.
That actually looks like. I'm going to be in Berlin this January. So
all right, you can take it down.
So I'm driving. My little sister Cotty wants a skateboard for her son Teddy. So I have extra skateboards. So I throw it on my electric bike, and I start to ride it over. My electric bike isn't fully charged, and it dies by my house in front of a synagogue. So I turn around, and as I'm driving back, I'm pedaling this electric bike, and now it's going slow as shit because it's an electric bike, and it's maybe going like 4 miles, 2 miles an hour. I see a Jewish family, Orthodox Jewish family, walking towards me. And I'm like, hey, or I didn't say anything. I was just like, I'm like, oh, they're in the bike lane. And then he kind of steps out of the bike lane. I go, hey, thank you so much. And he's like, yeah, of course. He's like, hey, man, I love you, man. And I was like, oh, thanks.
This is a guy in like traditional,
the curls and the hat, like everything. A whole family there. And he's like, I love you, man. I was like, oh, thanks. He goes, no, man, I love what you do. Keep doing what you do. And now I'm kind of passing him. And I go, oh, thanks. We're in front of a synagogue. And he goes, fucking Hitler's teacup was the funniest fucking thing in the world. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, by the way, I didn't even put the two and two together. So I'm like, holy shit. So I text you. Immediately I text you. I get my bike back to my house. I still have to take this skateboard back. So I get in my car. I get in Leanne's car. I put the skateboard in the back. I start driving the same route. It's the same route to get to my sister's house. I'm in front of the same synagogue. Everyone's going to temple. And another Orthodox Jewish family is crossing the street, but I'm at the light. It's kind of blinking. They're looking to see if they should cross. And the guy looks at me, and I see him look at me, and I like kind of nod.
Yeah.
And he does I love you, like to me. And I went, oh, I gave him a thumbs up, right? I legit went, okay, because I remember thinking I feel like a dork. And then he looks at me and he goes, and walks across the street. And what's even crazier is I hung out with my neighbor. My neighbor is from Israel, and I was with my dad. I think I told you this too, right?
Yeah.
I was with my dad. My dad will not find Hitler's teacup funny. He definitely will not find the nuance in that. Buddy, what the fucking fuck? My father cleared out, god damn it, he stormed the beaches of North, like, so. Yeah. He goes, my neighbor, Mike, shout out to Mike, the coolest fucking neighbor you can ever have, right?
Yeah.
He has parties, he throws parties like 40 fucking deep. Everyone's whole family. So if I ever hear a party, I go over and have a drink. So I go over to have a drink. And he's like, I'm going to do a bad impression of Mike. If you're Mike, you listen to this, I'm sorry. He's like, bro, you're blowing up in the synagogues. And I'm like, what? And he's like, you're going viral. But now Mike's my age, but he's not an internet guy, so I don't think he knows what that. I'm assuming the terminology is just to tap it off.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is the night before all this happened. He goes, no, bro. And then his son comes in. I go, his son knows terminology. He's like, dude, 2 bears, 1 cave. And I'm like, okay, all right, wrap it up. And my dad goes, oh yeah, the Kool-Aid thing. And he goes, and Mike's like, no. And I'm like, all right, everybody out of here, Dad, let's go. Before we're sitting here. And luckily my dad thought he was having a heart attack and we had to take him home. But yeah, his heart rate got to 157 and he almost passed out. I was like, Mike, we're done drinking tequila. But yeah, man, it's that was the.
Is your theory on why? Is like kind of back to what Peter said, that just they're like, it's just funny. It's a funny beat. It's a funny moment.
Look, I'm not asking for anything to go viral. I'm just saying.
No, yeah.
Like, yeah. I think probably you're at synagogue and there is a lot of shit going, anti-Semitic shit going around, and that's got to be the top of the conversation. And I think probably the clip came up, And they're like, have you seen this? I think very earnestly, and I'm almost certain that any dude, despite their religion, that is like us, our age, with kids, and likes to hang out with the family and have a good time, a party, I think they fucking laughed at it. Yeah. And I think they were just like, it's fucking funny. I bet there was probably some kind of like shady person going, have you seen this? And I would have loved to have been at that moment where like a bunch of Orthodox Jewish men were like, hey, what is this? Oh shit. Shit, he got him his fucking teacup. Like, but that was my takeaway. But it was, I'm done with it. Like, the second I got those two guys to say that, and the whole thing was like, one of our best friends, we have a group of friends called the Campers. I called him when he got it, and the best part of that whole thing was he laughed, and then he goes, I really wish that wasn't my reaction. That's the beauty of the comedy. Yeah. It's the Georgia part. You know, I said this when I took Georgia on Fully Loaded. She did not want to laugh at Shane Gillis. Shane Gillis is such a fucking... He's one of us. Meaning, he's like me and you growing up. Like an athlete, a ball buster, a fucking bro. Yeah. Loves to fucking drink beers. And Georgia, that energy is not Georgia's energy. She did not want to like Shane Gillis at all. At all. And the first night she saw him, he's doing his, whatever, I don't want to whittle it down and say Trump stuff, but he's talking about Trump. And Georgia loved him. And by the end of the week, he had a rapport with Georgia where he could go up, he went up to her and Daisy and was like, you guys sneaker beers? They're like, no. And he goes, do you sneaker beers? You can tell me. Oh, I'm not going to tell you that. And they're like, no. And he's like, oh, you guys smoking weed? Smoking weed, sneaker beers? Sneaker weed? Like, and you can wrap your head around that, Shane Gillis saying that to Georgia with his hands up like this. Like, come on, you can tell me. And Georgia leans over and she goes, yeah, we've been sneaking beers. And he goes, cool. Sits down next to me immediately. He goes, Georgia's drinking beers.
Oh my God, dude. Well, yeah, you doing all right?
That'll be a rough second show.
Yeah.
I got him. It's the anxiety. The part I don't like about it.
Oh, anxiety of what?
When I drink.
Oh.
And I man.
This is what you said way back when we had a month off of drinking. You said I have zero anxiety.
I have so much anxiety.
Do you think you kind of miss the anxiety when it's gone? Because it's what's normal to you?
I'll tell you what I miss. I miss the deflating the anxiety. When you have a drink and the anxiety goes away, you're like, oh, we're back. It's an interesting thing. When you have no anxiety, you just don't notice it's around. Yeah. But when you...
I remember doing this, going to this guy's place in New York, and he was a big pot dude, right? Like smoked, and he had like I don't know, some type of apparatus where it was like, I don't know, some like glass thing, and he was like, press this, and then it heats it, and then, so it's not burning the weed, and then it's a cleaner burn, and it was some elaborate thing, and he had all like high-end, like high-grade weed, right? Yeah. And so he pulled out one of them, he's like, oh, this one's amazing, and I did a pull of it, and I got so high, but I was paranoid, anxious, and I hated it, because it was too full of anxiety, so I went and, the next day he was like, oh, do you want to take a pull off of this again? And I was like, no, dude, no. I would go, that was horrible. I got way too high, and I was paranoid, and I was, like, full of anxiety. And I hate that. I go, so you don't experience that? He was like, oh, no, I do. And he goes, I kind of like it. I like working I like feeling that anxious, and when I'm not feeling it, I get, like, fired up to feel it again. And I was like, oh, that's where we're different. Because to me, I was like, I never want to feel like that ever.
Rogan loves that.
And he was like, really?
Yeah, he loves it.
He loves the anxiety?
He loves the panic. The panic makes him, he's fucking.
He likes I think the panic's the worst part.
Yeah.
He likes it?
He loves it. I mean, look, I'm putting words in the largest media platform's mouth right now. I don't mean to. But, like, I'm saying as a friend, he's always talked about eating too much edibles and getting in the deprivation tank and feeling a little panic. I think it makes him, I think his brain likes the fight or flight because he decides to fight. Right. And I don't. I hate panic. I flight so fucking hard.
Panic is just a life ruiner.
Oh, it sucks. And for me, like, so I'll tell you, I woke up this morning thinking, I actually said this, I was like, I was so high and drunk last night.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking Leanna's adorable.
What happened? She took you there?
Can I show you a picture?
Sure.
This is why I love my wife. Look, everyone knows I shit on my wife nonstop. But if you don't shit on your wife, then you don't fucking love your wife.
There you go.
I'm so tired of like I don't read comments, but I know that I've heard like people say like I don't read comments. I do not read comments. I read other people's comments. I did today. but I remember someone said something about like hey man, you talk a lot about porn stars and cheating on your wife. I have a hard time believing you're faithful or something. And I was like, oh, you're not married. You don't know what it's like to be married and to be like, I'm committed to this person for the rest of my life. So I'm gonna send you a picture of how Leanne dressed last night. Oh, it's on my Instagram. You can find my Instagram stories. Can you go to my Instagram stories and stuff?
I'll be back.
And so hang on. So the whole thing, Tom, was like show up as white trash.
Yeah.
And so everyone dressed as like sexy white trash people. And this is how Leanne dressed. And this made me love her so much. Look at her. Ready? This is me. I just wore a tuxedo. Okay. No shirt. Yeah.
Bam, 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 bam. I don't know why I closed on StarCraft. It was damn.
Her family, like legit.
Yeah.
She dressed like her granny. I'm not even fucking around.
Yeah.
Because Leanne grew up in a trailer.
Right, in Georgia.
Yeah. So she was so self-conscious.
Well, yeah.
And that is why I love her, is because of that.
This pre or post drinking and smoking?
Is pre, but it's
Jesus, you look rough. You look absolutely fucking hammered.
I held it together for my special and then I let it go. I'm telling you, that person who dresses up, who really takes the assignment literal.
Yeah, is what you love.
That's what I love about her, and I couldn't explain it to her. I didn't know how to. So I was fucked up.
No! You did that? Really?
Are you kidding? I had to do it. What else was I supposed to do?
Okay, I swear you are the female Jim Carrey.
Guilty as charged.
What is the? How do you come up with those faces? What is it? Your face made of Play-Doh or something? Hey guys.
Hey, what's up?
Hey Trent. We're having a good conversation.
We're having fumbo fun.
Fumbo fun. Oh, I don't know what that is.
You have to be there.
Right. Hey Trent, can I talk to you for a second? Yeah, sure. Yeah. I'll be right back. Okay?
All right.
Yeah,
See ya.
Yeah, just right over here, if you don't mind. Just yeah, sure. What's up? This feels good, right? You and me, we've hung out hundreds of times, just you and me. Yeah. Your quiet, calming presence brings out a similar quiet and calm out of me, and we gel together. Okay. Contrarily, Mitzi and I, we get together and we're doing goofs and jokes left and right. We're pretty well a two-person night at the comedy club when we get together. But if you bring that same calm, strange energy that you are known for to this dynamic, it doesn't work. You can't do Joel, Trent, and Mitzi. We have, though. No, we haven't. We went to Disney together. No, we didn't. Brian was there. Oh, yeah. You see, Brian's dry yet classic demeanor brings a subtle witticism that will offset the strange, calm goofiness that you, Mitzi, and I would have otherwise. Without Brian, it would never work.
I mean, you guys didn't even give me a chance. I just sat down and you both kind of, shut off.
Okay, we'll give it a chance. Okay? Yeah. One chance.
Yeah, we can hang out.
Hey, Mitzi-tron!
What's up?
What's up?
Hey, fumbo.
Bloop, bloop, bloop.
Are you milking a cow? The hell's that?
But you guys were
Do you want me to talk?
Okay.
Nothing too serious, just... I don't know. Me and Joel have like a completely different dynamic. We're goofy, we're silly, we have knee slappers.
I mean, I think I'm funny too, right?
I don't think I've ever slapped any of my knees from you.
Oh.
Giggled, maybe. I don't know, I feel like us three is not good.
I mean, what about Disney?
Brian was there.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I forgot.
Brian, he's majestic, has an acoustic voice, very rustic personality, you know? He changes what would be a fucked up trio to a beautiful quartet. Just seamless, you know? There's 4 here, and there's 3 here.
I see.
Okay, so I'm gonna hang with Joel.
Oh, alright.
Sorry.
What was the story? It was your grandma who was making the faces.
No, my grandma and my grandpa at a family dinner. It was a reunion that was set up. And I was like, they're both over here. I feel like us three is not good.
I mean, what about...
I don't know. Me and Joel have like a completely different dynamic. We're goofy, we're silly, we have knee slappers.
I mean, I think I'm funny too, right?
I don't think I've ever slapped any of my knees from you.
Oh.
Giggled, maybe. I don't know, I feel like us three is not good.
I mean, what about Disney?
Brian was there.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I forgot.
Brian, he's majestic, has an acoustic voice, very rustic personality, you know. He changes what would be a f***ed up trio to a beautiful quartet. Just seamless, you know. There's 4 here,
Yes.
and there's 3 here.
I see.
Okay, so I'm gonna hang with Joel.
Oh, all right.
Sorry.
What was the story? It was your grandma who was making the faces.
No, my grandma and my grandpa at family dinner. It was a whole reunion that was set up. And I was like, they're both over here.
That's so good. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Howdy there, folks. A lot to discuss in today's video. I have a lot to take you through, a lot of things to show you, some very important things, a lot of stocks to talk about. Obviously, we're going to make some insane moves here, and a lot to speak about. Okay. First off, and by the way, I appreciate everybody that subscribed to the channel. Thanks for being here, folks. You know, something very disappointing. I obviously got to see last night, essentially, right? And it is the fact that basically retail is dumped out of this market in mass, and they're gone now at this point in time. And if you want any proof of this, right, like there's a million proof points I could show you for this, but if you go ahead and take a peek at Robinhood, Robinhood monthly active users declined for 6 straight quarter. Retail has basically said, peace out. We are out of this market. We're done with the stock market now at this point in time, right? If you go ahead and you look at all their numbers, revenue, you know, super disappointing. They lost more money, but this is the most important one I look at. Monthly active users, 11.4 million monthly active users versus 12.2 million during Rona. Robinhood rode the retail trading boom as younger class of investors flocked to the stock market and obviously crypto as well, right? And monthly active users grew north of 21 million at the peak of early 2021, right? Well, it's 2 years later now, and basically everybody has dipped out of this market. This is Robinhood's monthly active users decline from over 21 million. So basically 10 million people have said, at least 10 million people, right? Because not everybody uses Robinhood, but let's just be honest. Let's tell the truth, okay? The truth is, most new investors that get in the market use Robinhood. Far majority of them, okay? And so we've basically gone back to where we were prior to Rona now at this point in time, right? In terms of investors that are using Robinhood, right? Which is once again is like the biggest service out there, right? Personally, I use Fidelity Investments, and a lot of the higher net worth folks definitely use, you know, other platforms, whether it be TD or Ameritrade, Fidelity, things like that, right? But the bottom line is, in terms of all the newbie investors, like almost everybody signs up for Robinhood. This is the biggest. They continue to be the biggest, but their numbers are down significantly, okay? And so this shows you that retail said bye. We're out. We don't care about the stocks anymore. We don't care about the market. And it's sad. It's really, really sad. But damn it, this happens in every market. There's never been a market where this hasn't happened in the past. This happened in the tech bubble, when the tech bubble would pop in 2001, 2002, and it actually started in 2000, right? This happened in the great financial crisis. And here we are in, you know, the 2020s now at this point in time, and it's just happened again. And it's just so disappointing because, you know, these folks, they got in the market in the biggest FOMO time. They ran to the market, and, you know, here we are in this big bear market now, right, where NASDAQ went from 16,000 plus to, I mean, in 2022, the NASDAQ was in the tens. It was in the tens, right? And there's going to be so much money to be made over this next 3, 5, 7 years, and so many opportunities and so many stocks to pick up for very, very cheap prices. And unfortunately, retail's not going to be there to pick them up. And it's sad. It happens every time, and it never fails. And you will see, well, again, another epic blow off the top bull cycle. It won't be for a long time for now, but there will be another one of those situations again. And it's unfortunate, man, because it happens time and time again out there. Now, if you're wondering why the market's starting to weaken recently, okay, this has been going around out here, okay? Jim Cramer on why the market likely won't see a sustained bottom anytime soon. And that video came out October 11th, 2022. And over here, afternoon update, here's why Jim Cramer says this market rally will not last right there. And then Jim Cramer says the economy's headed for a soft landing. Everybody's losing their jobs, okay? We're all going unemployed at this point in time, man. Oh, boy. Anyways, a little fun in there, right? But in regards to market, right? Another Red Dead Redemption day out there here today. Russell down 1.4%. The Nasdaq down over 1%. S&P 500 down 0.88% here today. Definitely a little pullback there, and we'll talk a little more in depth about that in just a moment. Okay, Google McDougal stock getting absolutely decimated. This is just since their whole debacle situation happened with the AI yesterday. Stock's gone down almost 12% just since that, let's call it wrong answer that their AI gave, right? I mean, that's incredible. That's incredible. In my opinion, what's actually going on here, right? And the stock market is a little bit similar to a magician. It gets you to kind of look over here when really you should be looking over here, right? And so, here's my opinion on this. Wall Street's been looking for a reason to really dump Google a lot harder, okay? And I think they want to probably continue to dump the stock. It's definitely a possibility, okay? And my belief is they're using this AI as a reason to dump the stock, but really the reason they really want to dump Google stock is actually has nothing to do with the ad market right now or TikTok or Instagram Reels or artificial intelligence or any of that, to be quite frank. The real reason is the whole government situation, where the government's really looking into them very heavily. Government, and so that's my opinion on that. And I think they're looking at this is very similar to how they look at Meta, where they're kind of like, this is a no-touch stock right now, and probably will be for the next few years. And so don't be surprised if Google just kind of struggles over this next few years. Not in terms of their numbers. I think they can still report very good numbers. But if you're expecting, Google stock price to do what it used to do back in the day with this whole government situation, it's going to be tough sledding. It's going to be tough sledding. And I think that a lot of Wall Street's going to bypass Google, and they're going to buy other big techs out there. And that's exactly what we're already starting to see play out. And so that makes it a tough dynamic, right? And so in terms of Google, it's a buy if you're a long-term investor, but just don't expect these bad news, these sell-offs to end anytime soon. Like, they'll use any excuse to dump shares of Google right now because of the government situation. That's my personal opinion on this. Okay. Now Amazon just crossed under $100 a share. Anytime Amazon goes under 100, that's a strong buy territory. I will likely be a buyer of Amazon stock tomorrow. It's just a question of how much Amazon do I buy tomorrow, but I will likely be a buyer. There's tremendous opportunity in this stock. On the government side, they're looking pretty good as of right now. You never know when something can creep up, but they're looking pretty darn good right now. And in terms of just their business, their net income, their EPS is going to take off like a rocket ship over this next couple of years here, regardless of what happens in the economy. So I think Amazon's going to be in a really, really good spot, and they're troughing as we speak right now in terms of their actual business. So definitely looking to pick up more there. Now, in terms of a couple stocks here, Tesla, another one, right? Another great day for Tesla. The market's all Red Dead Redemption out there today, and this stock just continues to report good earnings. By the way, Wynn, it was my best stock here today, okay? Let me tell you what Wynn said on the conference call, okay? Something very important, by the way, Alpha, another green day. That stock is just amazing, right? Wynn was my best stock here today. So I listened to their conference call about 2 a.m. last night, okay? And what Wynn said on the conference call was a couple important things. Two very important things, okay? One is U.S. based, one is in China. In terms of China, which this matters in a significant way for Wynn, in terms of their Macau business, okay? What Wynn said is in China, business is insanely strong, basically. That's what they basically said. But it's still so early that they can't get too excited. They'll have a lot more information to share with us next quarter. But in terms of Macau, in terms of the China opening phase, we're still very early days there. But they basically said, It's even beating their expectations. Like very, very good. Okay, that's great news. That's great news. Okay. The second component of this, United States business. Obviously, if you don't know, Wynn has 3 properties in the United States. One's the Wynn, that's on the Las Vegas Strip. The other is Encore, which is on the Las Vegas Strip, and the other is Encore Boston Harbor. Okay. What they said with their USA business is they said it's still incredibly strong. And despite all the macroeconomic concerns and those sorts of things, their business in the States is incredibly strong. Bookings looking very strong, high room rates, high occupancy, all those things. So, that's good news, okay? Because obviously, if you're thinking about any sort of recessionary environment, usually business wouldn't be that strong. But they basically say business looks great in terms of our bookings, what's coming down the pipeline, like everything's good. So that's great news, okay? And we also heard a very similar sentiment yesterday from Uber CEO Dara, right? Dara basically said he's seeing no weakness in the consumer as well. So I think those are just important factors to take into account, right? Because it's a very confusing time right now. People are seeing this and seeing that, and they're like, is the economy, getting really bad? Is it getting better? Is it not getting better? Is it stagnant? Are we in stagflation? Are we in recession? Are we in still expansion? And it's very confusing. So I think it pays to listen to a lot of conference calls, not just from the investment standpoint, but just to understand what's going on with a lot of the biggest companies in the world and how they run their businesses and how their businesses shaping up right now, right? In terms of Alpha and Tesla, I mean, these stocks are bailing out the public account over these past week or so, right? A lot of weakness in the market, a lot of red, but these stocks just continue to show strength day after day after day. Alpha just crossed a 900% gain. A 900% gain. And this is during a very weak market, obviously, right? I mean, that's incredible that this stock is doing that, but the thing I always told you guys about ELF, right, is their products, very low cost. And if consumers tighter on cash, if you're talking about what brand has the best reputation and low price points to be able to folks to be able to afford it, it's ELF. And yet their margins are incredible at that company. So just couldn't be happier with that. And then in terms of Tesla, I mean, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of excitement really around the upcoming March 1st Investor Day as far as that goes, right? And there are a lot of people really piling into call options in regards to Tesla. If this market starts to go green, Tesla will be 250 before you know it. 250 before you know it, if this market really turns green. Because look at the days it's having on red days. I mean, market goes down and down and down, and yet Tesla's just banging out another green day. I mean, that's $10,000 today. $10,000 to me today, just on these Tesla shares here in this account, right? It's just strength after strength after strength, right? Now, in terms of not strength, and I appreciate Brent and I believe posted this inside the Prep Stock Group in the Breaking News tab, right? You just see layoffs everywhere, right? Baxter International, 5% layoff. GitLab, 7% of their workforce. St. Luke's, 2% layoff. Zoom, 1,300 employees, layoffs, right? eBay slashing 500 workers there. Canopy, how are they still around? Oh gosh, how are they still around? They're cutting employees. So here's the issue. Here's a big issue, okay? It's a very uncomfortable buying environment for us investors. Because what we're looking at right now, by the way, I never put my light on there. Oh, wow. Ooh, boy, I'm all lit up now, okay? The issue for us investors right now is you look out there at the market, right? And you're like, oh gosh, this company announces layoffs, this company announces layoffs. It's an extremely uncomfortable market to be a buyer in. Extremely uncomfortable, right? And you've got to understand, in this environment, you just have to tough it out. And you have to be a buyer when, unfortunately, you see a lot of bad news. It's much easier to be a buyer when you're seeing, like, oh, this company's adding 10,000 jobs. And, oh, this company just said they're going to add 5,000 jobs. It's a very tough environment to buy in when you're hearing about this company's cutting 5% of the workforce, and this company's cutting 7%, 2%, 4%, 10%, right? It's extremely uncomfortable. I understand it. But just understand, that's where the biggest money's always been. It's always been that way. When you're seeing those job cuts, when you're seeing the layoffs, all that stuff, like that's always the best market to be a buyer in. It's just factual. Like, go back throughout history and you'll find it time and time again. Look at the last many decades, right? And so those usually present you with some extraordinary opportunities, including if you look at the great financial crisis, if you look at obviously the crash of 2020. I mean, it's not comfortable. I can tell you that. When you're seeing this company cut, this company cut, this company cut. But at the end of the day, you have to be a buyer, right? Now, in terms of unemployment rate, you're seeing all these cuts, and yet you're seeing government data showing that unemployment rate's basically at all-time lows. And this is creating a lot of confusion because you're looking at the headlines, you're like, how are all these companies cutting all these employees? And yet unemployment's like the lowest it's ever been in history? Like, how's that even possible, right? And that's definitely confusing. Very, very confusing. Very confusing, right? The one thing I'll tell you this, okay? Government data always lags, and it lags big time, okay? I can tell you, I thought there was way more inflation in 2021 than what CPI was showing, what the government numbers were showing, okay? I was like, I'm seeing crazy inflation in 2021, and yet the numbers weren't that crazy, right? And then in 2022 it hit, and obviously the numbers started pouring, right? And so don't be surprised if in a few months from now you start to actually see the unemployment rate tick up, okay? And you start to see it go up and up and up and up and up, okay? And so just keep in mind this government data lags. It lags, man. It lags. It lags sometimes months, many, many months. And so once again, do not be surprised if, starting in March, April, May, throughout the summer, you see this unemployment rate start to tick up more and more and more and more and more. And then the news will go to, oh, wow, unemployment's starting to go up, right? Which is kind of the last leg you're really looking for this market, right? You've seen the economy slow down. You've seen corporate earnings really come in. You've seen a lot of very cautionary commentary from CEOs, a lot of confusion, right? But the last thing you really need, the last thing to really end this vicious kind of cycle we've been in for the last, year and a half or whatever, right? The last thing you really need is you've got to have unemployment tick up. And that's something that the Fed's really talked about. They've been fairly consistent that they've expected, unemployment to go to 4 to 5%, somewhere in there roughly, right? And so don't be surprised if you see that eventually as the year ticks on here. Now, the interesting dynamic for the market is, right, you might think, well, if unemployment goes up, that has to be bad news for, companies, right? It has to be bad news for the stock market. It means the stock market's going to go lower. It doesn't really work like that as perfect as you might think. Because if unemployment starts to tick up, and especially if it starts to do it significantly throughout the springtime, summertime, you start to see that unemployment rate start to climb quite a bit, right? Well, guess what's more likely? You're much more likely to have the Fed start to cut rates. Because we're in a dynamic where inflation's clearly starting to fall, right? And we're likely, if we were to see real-time numbers, we're probably at something like a 5%, somewhere in the fives right now, right? And we're likely on the way to 4s and 3s. And so if you're in that sort of dynamic, well, if inflation's falling and unemployment's going up, the Fed has two goals, right? It's to have price stability, and it's to obviously have maximum unemployment, right? And so if unemployment rate all of a sudden starts to tick up and inflation's coming down and down and down, and let's say Fed funds rate is, close to 5% at that time, which is very much it could be, well, that's a moment where the Fed starts to actually cut rates, right? Which is another thing some market participants are looking at as when they start to cut rates, buy, extra buy, right? And that's just some folks' opinion out there. I'm a very consistent buyer out there, but that's some folks believe that when they're cutting, you got to be buying like crazy, right? One of the issues is services inflation, okay? And I'll just give you a couple real life examples of services inflation, because this is something, if you hear what Jerome Powell's talking about, if you hear what the Federal Reserve's talking about, they keep talking about services inflation is where we still have problems. Goods inflation's come down, that's great, but we still have a lot of services inflation, okay? And I gotta say, I've seen some of this in the real world, okay? So I got some landscaping done recently, okay? Keep in mind, this house is relatively new, right? And so my bushes are like teeny little tiny things, right? My wife called and got landscaping done. These took these guys less than an hour, okay? It took them less than an hour to do this, two guys. You know how much they charge for that? $180. $180, man. It's like $90 an hour for each of them, right? To do some flipping flapjack and little landscaping, you say, well, they might have spent a little gas using their blower or using their little trimmers or whatever. Come on, man. What are they going to use, $5-10 worth there? Give me a break. It's not even going to be close to that much, right? At the end of the day, those guys made like $80 to $90 an hour, basically, for doing my yard. And it's like, jeez, man, I'm thinking I'm going to become a landscaper, leave YouTube. It sounds like a pretty dang good amount of money to be making doing just landscaping, right? Give you another example. I went on vacation last month, and I don't get to take a real vacation like that where I totally unplug, other than maybe like once a year, right? And I went with my wife, and, the place we stayed at, La Casa de la Playa, right? I just called him up and, told him I just wanted like a massage, right? So 90-minute massage, a couple's massage. I figured, it's a high end place, obviously. I figured maybe $400, $500 for this couple's massage. This thing was $700. I didn't know. I didn't ask the price or whatever. I told him to book it. I'm like, geez, man, $700? Okay, all right. That was cool. 90 minutes. $700 later. Wow. Okay. Okay. And that just goes to show you the services inflation that still is out there right now. Where anything that this all falls into services, right? All this stuff, or whether you're talking about getting a massage, or whether you're talking about landscaping, or getting your house cleaned, or anything like that, right? Going to a restaurant, all this stuff kind of fits in that services category, and that's where we're still seeing this high inflation. And the real problem is unemployment's been so low. So if you get a higher unemployment rate, then you have more competition for the services field, right? And for all these, whether it be the person that works at the restaurant, or whether it be the person that does landscaping, or whether it be the person that cleans a house or cleans a pool or whatever, when unemployment goes up, people go to those sorts of services type jobs, right? And then you start to see potentially even deflation because people start to undercut other folks' prices on that, right? No different than back when I had my real estate marketing company, right? Photography, videography, all those sorts of things for real estate. Back when I started that business, that was my first successful business I ever started, right? This was I started that at the end of 2015. What did I do? I came into that field and I undercut everybody. I undercut everybody's price, and I built a very impressive clientele list of some of the best realtors in all of Las Vegas in less than a year. But I undercut everybody's price, right? So if anything, I caused services deflation in that market because I came in there and I was just out competing folks for a lower price. And so this is just something to keep in mind. But when you have unemployment so low, people have all these jobs, all these other places, then the people that are in the services can just get, top dollar for all this. And it's like, oh, go somewhere else. So you're going to pay just as much, if not more, right? So that's the situation we have at this point in time that is still the sticky part. But believe me, once unemployment starts to climb in any significant way, that's when you start to see all the services inflation stop almost immediately, because then people got to do something to make a buck, right? And so they go to these other fields that ultimately you don't need, crazy levels of expertise, right? Like my 8-year-old could do landscaping. It's not rocket science, right? NASDAQ. So in terms of the NASDAQ, a lot of people are trying to figure out, obviously we're having this recent pullback here. I think it's been about 3-4% pullback in the NASDAQ so far. Recently, just in the past, I don't know, maybe a week or so. And so a lot of people are looking at the market and like, okay, are we about to have this another big, huge downward move here? Boom, into a new lower low. Because that's what we've seen consistently in this market, right? Every single time you've gotten one of these rallies, it ended up in a lower low, basically. Rally there, boom, to a lower low. Rally there, almost to a lower low. We didn't quite hit a lower low there, right? And now we have this recent high, and people are like, maybe we're just going back to a lower low. So that's what people are thinking now at this point in time, right? And in terms of that thought process, right? First off, I don't think anybody really truly knows if that's what's going to happen, right? But you're going to need, if you're going to talk about going back down to a lower low, you're going to need some really shockingly bad stuff to happen. Now, what could happen that could be shockingly bad, right? Well, a CPI number comes in way hotter than expected. That could cause shock and awe in the market, because that could also put the Fed into a situation where instead of raising 25 basis points, they go back to raising 50 basis points, or dare I say 75 basis points again if CPI came in too high, right? And that would obviously cause panic in the market from the long side, right? And a lot of the people that have been buying recently might end up selling in that sort of situation if you had a red hot CPI and everybody became convinced that, oh my gosh, the Fed's going to have to raise 50 or 75 basis points next time. Because now everybody's thinking Fed's going to raise 25 basis points maybe once or maybe twice for the rest of this year, and then that's it. And that's it. And so if you also talk about it's going to be much more substantial, and that's obviously something that could freak people out, and maybe you get that NASDAQ back down to 10,000 range, right? Which would be vicious, a vicious fall. And obviously you get tremendous opportunities in the market. It depends on what side of vicious you're on, right? If you're just thinking about what your portfolio says in the short term, it's vicious. If you're thinking about the best opportunities to buy stocks you could possibly imagine, you should almost, root for CPI. Come in hot, baby, come in hot, because there'd be obviously a tremendous opportunity. You could be getting Amazon at $80, right? You could be getting Google at $80. You could be getting, Tesla. I don't want to say Tesla because Tesla's its own animal. Okay, that might still pick up even in a down market. You could get Apple at 120, 125, right? You get just a lot of opportunities. You get Microsoft at 220, 210. You could get Meta at 150, 140. If you're dreaming about $80 again, that ain't happening. Okay, in regards to Meta, so dream on about that. No. In regards to the market, right? If you look at overtime, and I just pulled up kind of like 2013, 2015 kind of time, or to 2018 type time frame, right? you always had to take advantage of every dip you get, right? And in that market, you had to work with urgency. You had to work with urgency, man. Because if you weren't taking advantage of these dips, where they lasted a few weeks or a few months, then you got left behind, right? The problem with the current market we're in, and the chart I just showed you, is it tends to make people not have a sense of urgency, okay? Because they're kind of like, well, the market's not really moving that much right now, so I don't know, do I really need to buy? Maybe next year I'll buy, or the year after, or 10 years from now, or whatever, right? I can just tell you in the market, you've got to work with a sense of urgency all the time, man. You've got to work with a sense of urgency. You've got to always be a buyer out there in the market. If you can't buy every week, you've got to at least be buying every month. You've got to have a sense of urgency in this market. I'm telling you, these markets can make people very complacent. The bear markets, the downtrending markets, they make people very complacent. And they'll see these opportunities right in front of their face that you never could have imagined. Whoever could have imagined getting Tesla that was $400 plus a share for $100 a share? You got that opportunity last month, right? Who could have ever imagined that? That was $300 plus. You get those shares at $88 a share. And a lot of people didn't take advantage, and they didn't buy, right? And now they're left watching those stocks go up and up and up and up and up, right? And yeah, I'm going to go back here and there.
That last game, man, with that freaking person, he was so mad. He's like, if he doesn't leave, you leave, and like, I end up being their only chance of living. Well, it's just noob stuff. I shouldn't even care about it that much. Yeah, I shouldn't let stuff like that bother me. People being noobs, thinking they know what's up.
We're stopping. Go. Okay. We're stopping. I know where to stop. Go. You really think they're trying to kiss you right now? Bro, it's hard or not. Okay, ready? Yeah. You may now kiss the husband. You was gonna do it, bro. You was gonna do it, bro. Son, you could have. He was gonna do it. Stop. You was gonna do it, bro. This is why we need CGI. This motherfucker gets rammed in the in a movie, but he can't even kiss his man right now. Like, that's crazy, B. It was like TV show. Hey, there's Johnny! All right, kiss me then, son. Let's go. Do it again. Right. Don't make it too dramatic. No, kiss his little mother. Don't lick your lips. Yo, son. Don't lick your phone. Okay, let's just restart, and then you guys just both go slow till right here. Okay, ready? You may now kiss the husband. Hey, yo! What's up, everybody? Welcome to Flagrant. Listen, a lot of people are making a very big deal about this. The fact that Jonah and Lauren didn't kiss in the movie. Mm-hmm. The movie's fake! Wait, they didn't get married? Bro! They didn't get married! Eddie Murphy's not a Nation of Islam, okay? Julia Louis-Dreyfus is not Jewish. You didn't storm the... She might be Jewish. I didn't storm the Capitol. Well, yeah, I guess you did. Okay. We had a podcast. Yeah, no, we were busy. My point is, there's these people that are getting like so upset that I exposed that a movie was fake. Avatar is not real. I hate to break it to you. Avatar is not a real fucking movie. What I'm confused about is why people at home are like, nah, they better kiss. Yeah. And it's like, why don't you respect Shorty and her decisions if she doesn't want to? Mm-hmm. And we'll respect Jonah and his decision. He's not a nation of... Okay, let's just restart, and then you guys just both go slow till right here. Okay, ready? You may now kiss the husband. Hey, yo! What's up, everybody? Welcome to Flagrant. Listen, a lot of people are making a very big deal about this. The fact that Jonah and Lauren didn't kiss in the movie. Mm-hmm. The movie's fake! Wait, they didn't get married? Bro! They didn't get married! Eddie Murphy's not a Nation of Islam, okay? Julia Louis-Dreyfus is not Jewish. You didn't storm the... She might be Jewish. I didn't storm the Capitol. Well, yeah, I guess you did. Okay? No, we had a podcast. Yeah, no, we were busy. My point is, there's these people that are getting like so upset that I exposed that a movie was fake. Avatar is not real. I hate to break it to you. Avatar is not a real fucking movie. What I'm confused about is why people at home are like, nah, they better kiss. Yeah. And it's like, why don't you respect Shorty and her decisions if she doesn't want to? And we'll respect Jonah and his decision. Maybe she feels uncomfortable doing it in front of that many people. There's hundreds of people in the room because it's a fucking wedding scene. Why don't you let the girl do what she wants with her body, or let the dude do what he wants with his body?
where is this audience out of nowhere that's like, for me to believe the plot, they better make out.
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you? Watch the free movie on Netflix that you steal a password from your ex-wife. Do you know what I mean? That you're still allowed to do. Shout out to Netflix.
Yeah.
All I'm trying to say is it's a movie, bro.
I guess people are curious. They're like, oh, why would you bring it up?
Because I thought that shit was hilarious.
Yeah.
Because I saw it happen. I saw them not kiss,
Yeah.
right? And I was like, how are you gonna play this in a movie? And then when I watched it for the first time with Dove, I noticed the CGI.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that's how they played it.
So you didn't think it was not fair that they should have or that they shouldn't have? You just thought it was funny.
Yo, if a woman doesn't want to kiss somebody in a fucking movie, they don't have to. And if a man doesn't want to kiss a girl in a movie, they don't have to.
Right.
This idea that the audience is going to demand it, you're like a little bit crazy. Yeah. Like if you're upset about that, you're a little crazy.
Yeah, creepy.
It's creepy. Those are the same people that's gonna say, oh, we shouldn't pressure these people into doing certain things. Well, why are you pressuring?
I just think it hit so many millions of people. It was like the biggest movie on Netflix in the back fucking however many months.
Yeah.
And so millions of people saw it, and then there's obviously detractors that didn't like it for whatever reason, the political thing that, oh, there's a racial dynamic and this is stupid, whatever. So now they're finding anything that they can to try to attach their narrative to why they don't like it.
Yeah, there are people that are upset and they're looking for justification, but like, yo, telling a woman what to do with her body is not the justification you want to die on. That's not the cross you want to die on. Listen, I'm only giving you advice out here. It's like, I'm not going to be the one going, if a woman signs up for a movie, those lips are mine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
You're being a little crazy. To me, seeing how it actually happened, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's crazy though. He ended up having a pretty big role in the movie when you think about it.
Yeah.
He had a huge role.
Not on screen.
No, I'm promoting it. Promoting it. That's what I'm saying. I need to charge more. Listen, when I'm in a movie,
But this is the thing, you're mad now because you didn't know that there was an option to not do
You should
some
be
of the
outraged.
scenes. You did a case and you had to actually do it.
That's true. That's true.
I didn't know. I could say no. I didn't know I had that power. I wanted to make it in Hollywood.
Yeah, they said,
You know what I mean?
your character's gay. What'd you say?
I put my hands on the tile. I said, just make sure you don't have it in the shot. You know what I mean? Like, just show my face squinting, but don't show anything else.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I could do. It was a different time.
But they really had a key grip behind you,
That was
bro.
it was a different time.
Yeah.
That was
You know
your
it's a different
best
time.
acting, bro.
Say again?
That was your best acting.
What do you think?
It was your best acting.
You
Like,
think I was acting? You think I was acting,
was
bro?
not
I was
acting.
method
Oh,
while I was out there.
oh,
Hell yeah,
oh.
staying in West Hollywood living a life. You know what I mean now? Come on now.
shit.
Come on now.
All right.
I see them pants high again. I just
No,
want to say,
chill out,
pants
chill
high
out.
again. Listen,
Chill out,
you're
bro.
gonna be just like me in West Hollywood grabbing
Jesus.
tiles. You're gonna be grabbing tiles just like me. All I'm trying to say is a thing that happened in the movie that doesn't expose anything about the movie and has brought in millions of people, like has opened the eyes of millions of people about it and wanted them to see it. That's a net positive.
Mm-hmm.
Also, makes the people who made the movie look cool because they respect the demands of the actors. How many creepy fucking producers and directors you hear about in Hollywood making people do uncomfortable shit? Literally, the whole Me Too movement is producers and directors are making women do things that they don't feel comfortable in movies, right? The whole Me Too movement started about it. Now we have a perfect situation where you have the producers and directors that are acquiescing to the demands of the actors, saying they don't feel comfortable doing something. And that's a negative? I need to see the names of the people who are upset about this.
That's progress, bro.
Low key, I need to see the names of the people upset about this. I think we need to have a conversation with them about how they want to control what women do with their bodies. You know what I gotta say? You know what I really gotta say to everybody involved in the movie?
What's that?
You're welcome. You are welcome for showcasing how kind and understanding you are of your actors and considerate and making sure that they feel comfortable in the roles that you have given them.
Yeah.
That is...
You got another movie coming out. Did anything not happen in that one? I'm curious. Did any women actually jump?
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. You put me in a movie, motherfucker's gonna see it. Motherfucker's gonna see it. Listen, for how long I'm in the movie, the amount of influence in terms of how many people saw it, has never happened before in a film. This never happened before in a film.
There's been a movie where there were some titties that you went to go see just for the titties, right? Back in the day?
Yeah.
Every movie.
Wild
with,
Things.
Wild Things.
Yeah, so Wild Things, those titties probably had a better ROI. Be honest, right? How many people saw Wild Things because of
She's
the
a
titties?
star of the movie, bro.
Oh, okay.
Your boy's not a star.
Well, the titties
Of
were
the
a star.
movie.
The titties were a cameo.
Say
The
what?
titties were a cameo.
Nah, the titties was. I mean, they were a cameo,
Yeah,
but they
yeah.
were also.
Yeah,
the
titties.
titties was crazy. You
You
didn't
see
see the
them
threesome.
I didn't see
The titties were so crazy that Nev Campbell, who was the other girl in the threesome, didn't even take her shirt off.
Wow.
Because it was like,
I didn't
What's
see
the
this.
point?
I can't.
We're not looking anyway. That's it. Our eyes are averted.
Simple as that.
You talking about this one?
Hey, bro, it was, and my boy Matt Dillon,
Come on, come on.
I mean, just truly unreal.
Oh shit, that's part of the scene.
Yeah, Denise Richards, just
Oh.
absolute beauty. Hey,
She's gorgeous.
yeah, that was a crazy moment.
Shouts to Chuck
Yo,
Sheen.
we
Yeah.
we might have to run this back.
I mean, she got the one-piece bathing suit on. That was champagne.
Damn.
Yo, Matt Dillon is really Champagne Poppy if we want to keep it a buck.
Oh,
No disrespect
shit.
to Drake.
Oh,
No
shit.
disrespect to Drake, but Champagne Poppy is Matt Dillon Wild Things,
Yeah,
bro.
he did it for
You saw this in the theater?
Son, say what?
You saw this in a
I
movie
saw it
theater?
in the theater. I saw it at home.
I saw it at home.
I saw it
at home alone.
the bathroom. Like I've been seeing this movie in so many different places, bro.
Pee Wee Herman with it.
Facts, bro. Facts. What you got, Dub? You got the screenshots on your phone?
No, he got
Lock
text.
Call me. Listen, we maybe should put that shit on. We should put that shit on.
Please
We'll be quiet.
answer.
We'll be
You can
quiet.
edit
We'll be
if you want
quiet.
to.
We'll be quiet.
Yes. We're quiet.
No. From Miss.
No, please, we'll edit it. We'll edit it.
Son, this is culture.
Why are they calling? What do they want
This
you
is
to do?
culture.
They want you to unsay it?
This is culture. Okay?
Culture.
Listen, yeah. Go take that call. Tell them and make sure you end it with "You're welcome."
Yeah.
Millions.
Yeah, say you
Millions.
people.
Millions.
Yo,
Millions. You say
Millions.
you're welcome. Millions, bro. A lot of people talking that even local radio host Peter Rosenberg was talking about this. And I'm going to give Peter a gift that he's never got in his life. I'm going to care about what he has to say. Okay? Yeah, that is the reality. Now, I'm not saying Peter's a bad broadcaster, but some people have that intangible thing that makes people care about what they say, right? And Peter just doesn't have it. And that's why he always has to be a parrot on someone's shoulder. Peter's never been able to exist on his own, right? He has to be next to someone that people care what they say. Right now it's Ebro, before it was Cypher, right? He does a sports show with a couple other guys, but he knows deep down no one gives a flying fuck what he has to say. But I'm going to give him that gift. I'm going to give Iago the gift of caring what he has to say. He believes, right, that he should control what women do with their bodies. He believes that he should tell a woman to kiss another dude if she doesn't feel comfortable doing that, right? And that's a little bit weird. That's a little bit uncomfortable thing. I'm totally okay with the fact that movies are fake and sometimes kisses are fake. A lot of things are fake in movies, right? We discussed that earlier. But he needs that shit to be real, right? What did I expose? That movies are fake? Oh my God, I can't believe that there are fake things that happen in movies.
That's crazy.
This is an absolutely astonishing, mind-boggling thing. But the reality of the matter is that Peter is genuinely going through what I would call end of career envy, which is which is because you have to understand, the first time I met Peter, he was hosting a show that I was a guest on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And now
Hip
Hip Hop Squares, and now he's commenting on something I've said that's news. He doesn't want to be on the local radio commenting on a thing that I've said that's news.
National news.
Right? So it's like he wants to be the person that creates the news, but he's been in radio for 30 years and never been able to do it. Because people don't care enough. It's not that he's not good, but he just doesn't have the thing. When Charlemagne talked, people care. When Ebro talked, people care. There's a reason why Ebro, who was like the head of the network, wasn't like, hey, Peter, you take the show. Because he knows.
Yeah.
He knows he can't do it. There's a reason why he doesn't get his own sports show. He knows he can't do it. Right? So here's the reality. I'm going to give Peter that gift. I listen to what you have to say. And I also listen to the apology. Because he came back and apologized.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
So,
Came back from the break and he's like, listen, I shouldn't have said that and I was acting like this. And that's why people don't care what he has to say. Because he says something and then he backs off of it. Why would I care what you have to say if you don't care enough to stand behind it? Stand behind what you say. It's like when we had Stephen A. Smith on. Remember we had Stephen A. Smith on? You're talking about what's interesting. Talk about how you feel. Let's just sit on your feelings. Stand on your feelings. Because if you're not going to stand your feelings, nobody else is. And that's why you always got to be on the shoulder. You're going to be on the shoulder of men who stand on their feelings. Because you don't have the courage to do it. Right? So I'm going to care. Today I care. I gave you your 15 minutes. This is as good as it's going to get. And soon, in the next few years, when the radio thing fizzles out,
and your career is done, you can know for a fact that no one will remember a single thing that you did.
Let's talk about them Chinese balloons, huh? Yes. Anyway, what do you guys think about the Rosenberg thing?
I thought he was completely right. I actually agree. I agreed with his take, actually. I thought, yeah, he nailed it. So.
What was his take? I didn't even understand it. He's like, how dare you say that movies aren't real? It's like,
Yeah, I don't
when
know.
you watch like the Terminator, like the guy isn't made of liquid.
He's not in movies, so he probably just
I see.
You don't know how they're made sometimes.
I see.
He still thinks Keanu Reeves can dodge bullets.
Yeah. John Wick doesn't kill all the people.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? And then sometimes people use stunt doubles.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm just like, it's baffling my mind. And the fact that they would put this girl through anything really fucking bothers me.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because who gives a fuck? Do you know how many times they use fake asses, fake tits in movies?
Yeah,
Like, they literally have ass
prosthetics and
doubles,
shit.
stunt double. Like, they could have done a million different things. In this one, they use CGI. They could have had another person just go do the kiss. I don't know who decided they were more comfortable with it not happening, but, like, have some respect if they feel more comfortable with that. Why is that angering you? Like, if what's his face? If Tom Cruise decides to not do one of the stunts in Mission Impossible, I'm good. I don't need him to be attached to every plane.
I'll never watch again.
Yeah, fuck that guy. You know what? You're right. Fuck that guy.
Oh, movie purist, you know?
Sorry.
Al loves Jackie Chan. That's his favorite actor.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
all stunts. He doesn't understand what he's saying, but he loves him.
BTS, what you doing?
God. Anyway, what else we got? You guys also Last of Us?
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Tell me if this was